So in this new project, we'll be using these mesh models, and this is a different kind of modeling, surface modeling than we've been using. And in this kind of modeling, the surface is broken down into a series of flat planes, and they look soft here because there's a smoothing algorithm that shows this mesh as a soft surface. But if we put on flat shading, just to illustrate a point, um, that is actually what this model's made of. If we sent this to a 3D printer, this is what it would look like. It would have these facets. But we'll come back to that later when we want to extract information from that. We're going to have to use that knowledge to get our curves nice and smooth when we want to get curves from this model to work from later. So I'll turn off the flat shade, and I want to establish the workspace. Now, in the model that I uploaded for the assignment, I already did this step, so I'm just going to run through it as if I didn't do this first step. So the first step I want to do is set the C-plane in front, and when I go here and I draw a circle here, right out of the box, the C-plane is behind the objects. Now, as I said, I uploaded the model with this step already done, so but I want to illustrate this point anyway. So what I want to do is set up a construction plane in front of the mesh. So I'm going to turn on layers, and we have some layers formatted. We have the male, the female head, and take which one you're working on. I'll just work on the male model and turn the other one off. And I want to turn on this ref surface. And now I have a plane straight in front. I have a series of planes. And these reference planes, I'm going to set a C-plane to. So in this front view, I'm going to right mouse, set the C-plane to the object. And now when I do another circle and put it here and look in my perspective, it's out in front. As I said, that's the way the model that you got is set. I forgot to change it back. So I'm going to turn off that surface, and I'm going to start working on my design. And the first thing I want to do is come in here, and it's kind of hard to see what you're doing with all these mesh wires. So I'm going to go to the display, and this might be different on your Macintosh versions. You'll find this display dialog box, and you'll have these options. And what I want to do is turn off the mesh wires. Makes it a lot easier to see. He's kind of a spooky looking guy, a little bit like Bruce Willis, but it makes it easier to see your lines that we're going to work on. And the other thing I want to do is I want to lock this layer so that it doesn't select when I'm working on it. So now I'm going to turn on the center line, and that center line is a plane going straight through, and I'm going to use that for symmetry. And I'm going to start my design, and I want to refer back to the handout. Where's that handout? No, that's not the one. And the handout is and look at some of these. That's the first step. That's there. And some of these models for reference. And this tutorial works best for wraparound glasses. So these are going to be something that wraps around the face. So what we're going to do is create this design out in front and shown in this view here. And I want to do that and back in my Rhino model. And I'm going to come here, and I'm going to start working, and I'm just going to put a circle and hold the Alt key and just draw it about there, and I'm going to give it a rebuild and keep it at 3. 7 looks good. So now I have this circle. I can turn on the points, and again, that's going to be a little different. I'm working in version 5 on my computer, and so your version 6 is going to be a little different. I have that, and that's going to represent the lens, and get an idea what it looks like on the other side. I'll mirror it, and I'll just use a mirror point here and turn on auto, and I have that. Now that's just a lens. And I'm not crazy about that. So I'm going to take this and, again, pull those points out a little bit. And I'm going to use the offset command. And I'm going to do a through offset. And make it about. And hold the Alt key so it doesn't snap. Now, if it snaps, even though this model is locked, you can still snap points to it. Now, if your model, and yeah, I'm glad that happened. See how it got kind of wonky? It was going to those points, so I'm going to fix that, right? Because that's going to give some trouble later on. It looks flat in that front view, but it got those points that I was changing got projected back. So I know that, let's turn this off. In this view, my construction plane is out in front, so I'm going to flatten that out. I'm going to transform. I'm going to project these curves to the construction plane and delete the selected, and nice and flat out front. So that's going to happen, and if that happens, you're going to project to the C-plane in the front view. Make sure you do it in the front view. Okay, so I have that, and I'm going to take this one, and that's got kind of dense, so I'm going to rebuild that guy. And I'll take it back down to that. All right, so I have that, and I'm just going to turn on the points, and let me hold the Alt key so it doesn't snap again. And looks like I got my good snap on. So I have that, and I made a copy that I didn't want to. So I'll have that, and all right, so that's one side, and let's see if we mirror it to the other side. How that looks. And it's looking kind of bad. I don't like that, so I'm going to work a little bit more on this. And let's get that. And pull this curve in. And I just keep on making copies of this. And it's getting better. Maybe I'll rebuild this, add some points to it. 7, maybe I'll go bring it up to 10. Okay, so what I'm illustrating is just play with the curves, tweak them, rebuild them. If you need more points, just rebuild. And it might be a good time to disable the. All right, because that got all wonky again, right? That's been snapping back. So I'm going to do, again, I'm going to fix that like I did. Transform. Project it back to the C-plane. And I'm just, for this case, I'm turning off the object snap because it keeps on giving me a hard time. F10, I could just, this way it's not gonna go where I don't want it. Keep on doing that same procedure. All right, so I have that. Now notice that I'm not that concerned about this part here because that's going to be going off the shape, and I want to get this one a little bit closer. Yeah, that's looking better. All right, that's better. Let's mirror that now. See how that goes. And yeah, I'm not picking up a point. Why not? Object snaps off. So let's come back in here, turn it back on, and just drop in ortho and got that. And again, I'm not worried about that point up to the side. So I want to put in a bridge, and I'm going to do that with turn off object snap again. I was going to put a line across. And give that a trim. Oop. And I'm going to rebuild this curve. And I'm going to go 4 and 3. This is a nice way to get a curve, a centered curve. Right, I do it 4 and 3, and I just drag these 2 points down, and I get a symmetrical curve. Yeah, it's looking all right. And let's do the same on the bottom. Call it a day. And 4 and 3, and turn the points and just drag them up. I'll take it. All right, so that's a design for, right, and it's just sitting out. It's a flat design. And for the next step, we're going to create a surface that's mapping close to this mesh, and we're going to project these curves on in following steps.